Beneath the dense frozen layers of Antarctica lies one of the most perplexing discoveries of the modern age. An enormous magnetic anomaly buried under the ice in a region known as Wilkes Land. This anomaly, spanning over 300 miles in width and buried beneath more than a mile of solid ice, was detected through NASA's satellite gravity measurements. The anomaly's size, shape, and density immediately caught the attention of geologists and physicists worldwide. It wasn't merely a difference in terrain or a random mineral deposit. It was something colossal and deeply out of place. The structure's shape, circular, symmetrical, and unusually defined, led scientists to believe it may be the remnant of an ancient impact crater, one so massive it could rival the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, which is linked to the extinction of the dinosaurs. But the Wilkes Land anomaly appears even larger and possibly older. As researchers dove deeper into the data, theories began to diverge. The crater hypothesis gained traction, suggesting that a massive asteroid may have struck Antarctica around 250 million years ago, potentially playing a role in the Permian-Triassic extinction event, which wiped out nearly 95% of marine species and 70% of land species. The timing, structure, and scale all matched the criteria of a world-altering impact. But what set the Wilkes Land anomaly apart from other craters was not just its immense size. Further scans using radar and gravitational sensors revealed inconsistencies in the composition beneath the anomaly, anomalies not typically found in natural formations. These irregularities included a dense, metallic core and several unusual patterns that hinted at artificial structures or an organized subsurface layout. This discovery raised serious questions. Could it be that something more than a meteorite caused the anomaly? Some scientists posited that it might be the remnants of a colossal underground base, or the long-buried remains of a prehistoric civilization, possibly one that existed during Antarctica's warmer, more temperate era. Several million years ago, before it froze over, Antarctica was home to lush forests and flowing rivers. If intelligent life had evolved or settled there, they might have constructed vast underground structures that were later buried under snow and ice. As implausible as it sounds, the symmetrical nature of the anomaly keeps this theory alive. Natural geological formations are rarely perfect in symmetry over such a vast area. Another school of thought suggests that the anomaly could be a massive metallic object of extraterrestrial origin. The density and magnetic profile of the structure don't align with any known geological phenomenon. Some theorists, both within and outside the scientific community, suggest that it may be a long-crashed alien craft or an interstellar probe that impacted Earth millions of years ago. If true, it could mean that Antarctica has silently guarded evidence of alien contact for eons. While mainstream science is cautious, it does not fully dismiss the potential of non-terrestrial origins, particularly as more anomalies continue to surface in remote and unexplored parts of the continent. Even more intriguing is the limited access to this region. Expeditions to Wilkes Land are scarce, heavily regulated, and surrounded by a cloud of secrecy. Though Antarctica is governed by the Antarctic Treaty System, which promotes scientific cooperation and bans military activity, certain zones remain curiously off-limits to public exploration. Some believe that this is due to the strategic and scientific value of what lies beneath the anomaly. Others argue that what has been found there might be too disruptive to the current understanding of human history, geology, or extraterrestrial life. In recent years, new satellite passes have offered higher resolution scans, revealing even more strange features surrounding the anomaly, such as long linear ridges and grid-like shapes. Again, highly unusual in natural terrain. While public data is limited, the information released only deepens the mystery. Despite advancements in technology, the harsh and inaccessible nature of Antarctica makes a full-scale excavation or exploration incredibly difficult. Drilling through over a mile of solid ice in sub-zero temperatures poses both technical and logistical nightmares. Ultimately, the Wilkes land anomaly represents one of the most significant, unresolved geological mysteries on Earth. It stands as a silent testament to how much we still do not understand about our own planet. Whether it is the site of an ancient cataclysm, a lost civilization, or something not of this world, the anomaly continues to draw researchers, theorists, and explorers who believe that Antarctica is far more than just a barren, frozen wasteland. It may be a gate to Earth's deepest secrets, secrets that have waited millions of years to be uncovered. Lake Vostok, hidden beneath more than 2 miles of Antarctic ice, is one of the most intriguing and least understood places on Earth. Its discovery marked a turning point in our understanding of subglacial environments. Spanning over 160 miles in length and 30 miles wide, this lake has remained completely sealed off from the atmosphere for approximately 15 million years. What makes it so extraordinary is not only its isolation, but what was found inside when scientists finally managed to breach its icy barrier. The existence of this lake was first suggested through satellite radar imaging, which showed a flat, smooth area beneath the surface ice, a telltale sign of liquid water. This led to years of speculation about what could be living within it, completely untouched by sunlight and insulated from the external world by a thick glacial lid. In 2012, Russian scientists drilled into Lake Vostok and retrieved samples of the water from beneath the ice sheet. When the samples were analyzed, the results were staggering. Microbial life was found thriving in the extreme conditions of the lake. These microorganisms were unlike any found on the surface. Some were related to known bacteria, but others had genetic sequences that were entirely unknown to science. The uniqueness of these life forms raised immediate questions about evolution, adaptability, and the possibility of life surviving in environments previously thought uninhabitable. The bacteria's ability to live without sunlight, under immense pressure, and in near-freezing water rich in gases like methane and nitrogen is not only rare, it's nearly unprecedented. The implications of this discovery were monumental. If life can exist in such a hostile and isolated environment, it opens the door to the possibility of similar life existing on other celestial bodies in our solar system. Moons like Europa and Enceladus, which also have icy crusts with subsurface oceans, could harbor life forms just as Lake Vostok does. The lake serves as an Earth-based analog for these distant worlds, making it a key area of research for astrobiologists. The survival mechanisms of the microbes, metabolizing minerals and chemical compounds rather than photosynthesizing, mirror the potential methods life could use elsewhere in the cosmos. But not all the findings have been made public. After the initial discovery, access to data became limited, and researchers began to report inconsistencies in what was shared with the global scientific community. Some claim that the organisms recovered are far more exotic than officially admitted, possibly even extraterrestrial in origin. These claims, while speculative, are fueled by the lack of transparency and the high level of international interest surrounding the lake. What exactly is being kept from public knowledge remains a subject of heated debate among scientists, theorists, and investigative journalists. The mystery deepens when considering the physical environment of the lake. Despite being sealed off for millions of years, the lake is believed to be geothermally heated from below, maintaining its liquid state. This heat source may also be responsible for maintaining a unique ecosystem, one that has evolved completely independently from the rest of the biosphere. Some sonar and radar readings suggest that the lake may have rock formations and even cavern systems, potentially creating isolated habitats within the larger body. These could host more complex forms of life, possibly even multicellular organisms or ancient species that have long since vanished from the surface world. Access to Lake Vostok is incredibly difficult, and drilling must be done with utmost care to avoid contamination of the pristine environment. The possibility of introducing surface bacteria into such an isolated ecosystem is a major concern. Scientists have designed complex, sterile drilling systems to ensure the samples they collect are uncontaminated. But even with these precautions, some experts argue that complete sterility is impossible, and any contamination could permanently alter the lake's fragile biosphere. This ethical dilemma further complicates research and raises the stakes of every expedition. Adding to the enigma is the presence of high levels of methane in the lake water. Methane is often associated with biological activity, but its abundance here cannot be fully explained by known geological processes. This suggests that the lake may host an active biological community that produces methane as a byproduct of its metabolic processes. Alternatively, some have hypothesized that the methane could be the remnant of long-extinct life, now trapped beneath the ice in a natural tomb. Lake Vostok remains largely unexplored, with less than 1% of its volume sampled. Yet even this tiny glimpse into its hidden world has upended scientific assumptions about the limits of life and what environments can sustain it. Its mysteries continue to attract global attention, not only for what they reveal about our own planet, but for what they suggest may lie beyond it. In 2016, high-resolution satellite imagery revealed something astonishing in the icy expanse of Antarctica. What appeared to be a long line of symmetrical, evenly spaced structures emerging from beneath the snow. These formations stretched for more than 2 kilometers, each formation casting shadows consistent with architectural ruins or tall structures. Their placement was too precise to be the result of random geological activity. The clean lines, equal spacing, and uniform height sparked immediate speculation among researchers and theorists alike. Were these simply coincidental patterns formed by nature, or was this evidence of something intelligently designed? Perhaps remnants of an ancient civilization buried long ago. Geologists initially hesitated to draw conclusions, citing that repeated glacial movement, wind erosion, and geological pressure over thousands of years can sometimes result in visually deceptive rock formations. Yet, what made these structures so perplexing was not just their alignment, but their rectangular and triangular patterns. Shapes rarely formed by natural processes on such a massive and organized scale. These weren't rough, inconsistent boulders scattered randomly across the landscape. They formed a deliberate-looking layout, one that almost resembled the ruins of a forgotten city grid or a long-lost fortress wall. The region itself has remained untouched by modern civilization, and the ice covering it is tens of thousands of years old, raising an essential question. If these formations are man-made, who built them, and when? The scientific community remains divided. Some argue the formations are nunataks, mountain peaks that pierce through the glacial surface, and that the straight lines are nothing more than a coincidental alignment of rocky outcrops. But satellite photos and advanced thermal imaging tell a different story. Beneath the ice, there are signs of geometric consistency, patterns that resemble underground chambers or corridors. Radar scans have detected strange voids in the ice beneath these structures, some echoing with unusual density readings that suggest materials other than ice or rock. These voids are eerily similar in scale and layout to what you would expect from ancient man-made storage facilities or dwellings. Historical climatology also adds an extra layer of mystery to the discovery. Antarctica wasn't always frozen. Millions of years ago, the continent had a temperate climate, home to forests, rivers, and potentially advanced life. If humans or pre-human civilizations existed then, and some controversial theories suggest they did, this frozen terrain could have been a thriving settlement before it was swallowed by ice. These formations could be the last physical testimony of a forgotten era, preserved in the cold silence of the continent. Compellingly, these anomalies are not alone. In several other parts of the continent, similar patterns have been detected, each suggesting intelligent design beneath the ice. Adding to the intrigue are reports of strange electromagnetic signals emanating from these areas. Research teams have occasionally picked up radio bursts and electromagnetic pulses from deep under the ice without any known natural origin. While skeptics dismiss this as atmospheric interference or equipment malfunction, the signals have been consistently recorded across different expeditions and devices. These anomalies overlap geographically with the location of the mysterious structures, prompting some to believe they may originate from hidden machinery, buried technology, or energy sources still functioning beneath the frozen crust. Another layer of interest comes from the secrecy that surrounds further investigation of these sites. After the initial findings gained public attention, access to some regions became increasingly restricted. Independent researchers have reported difficulties obtaining permits, and some satellite images have allegedly been removed or censored in later releases. This lack of transparency has fueled a wave of theories, some more grounded than others, but all pointing toward the same unsettling notion. There is something beneath Antarctica that we are not being told. Several ancient maps, such as the Piri-Reis map from 1513, depict the Antarctic continent in detail, without its current layer of ice. These maps have been authenticated as accurate in their use of latitude and longitude, despite being drawn long before Antarctica was officially discovered. The features shown on those maps, like a coastal outline nearly identical to modern radar scans of the land beneath the ice, overlap curiously with the regions where these geometric formations have been found. This convergence between ancient cartography and modern satellite imagery cannot be easily dismissed, and it adds weight to the idea that an intelligent presence once surveyed or inhabited this land. What makes these symmetrical structures so powerful is not just their visual strangeness, but the overwhelming silence that follows each discovery. With so many geological anomalies, atmospheric disturbances, and ancient mysteries converging in the same area, the pattern becomes harder to ignore. Whether they are the remains of a lost civilization, unknown natural phenomena, or relics from an era predating recorded history, these formations challenge what we thought we knew about Earth's most remote continent. In one of the coldest, driest places on Earth, the McMurdo Dry Valleys of Antarctica, scientists discovered something that appeared at first glance to be a scene out of a science fiction movie. A waterfall gushing out of the Taylor Glacier, dyed a deep, unnatural red. Known today as Blood Falls, this eerie natural phenomenon stunned early explorers, and even now, it continues to puzzle researchers. The color is caused by iron-rich water, which oxidizes upon contact with the air, much like rusting metal. But the true mystery isn't just the red water. It lies in the fact that this water emerges from deep within the glacier, where conditions are so extreme that they were once thought to be completely sterile and lifeless. Beneath the icy crust of Taylor Glacier exists a pocket of briny water, sealed off from sunlight and the atmosphere for over 1 million years. What scientists found in this isolated ecosystem completely rewrote expectations of what life could endure. Inside this dark, oxygen-deprived environment, microbial life not only exists, it thrives. These extremophiles survive without sunlight, photosynthesis, or conventional food sources. Instead, they rely on iron and sulfate-based chemical reactions to generate energy, a metabolic pathway that is entirely alien to most familiar forms of life on Earth. This discovery shattered the long-held belief that life could not persist without sunlight and dramatically expanded the definition of habitable environments. The survival strategies of these microbes provide profound insights into the resilience and adaptability of life. The extremophiles beneath Blood Falls utilize a metabolic process that mirrors what scientists believe could exist in other parts of the solar system, particularly on icy moons like Europa and Enceladus. These moons are thought to possess subsurface oceans beneath their frozen crusts, environments that are dark, cold, and high in pressure, conditions nearly identical to those beneath Taylor Glacier. If life can exist in Antarctica's extreme conditions, then similar microbial life could feasibly thrive beneath the icy shells of these alien worlds. As a result, Antarctica has become a vital testing ground for astrobiological research, offering a living laboratory that simulates conditions on other planets. Beyond the scientific implications, the phenomenon also challenges the fundamental understanding of biology. The blood falls microbe suggests that life is not merely a surface-based occurrence. Instead, it might be a more universal and adaptable force, capable of emerging and surviving in the most unexpected niches. The discovery emphasizes that even under crushing pressure, in pitch-black water that is rich in iron and salt, nature still finds a way. Moreover, these organisms do not just survive, they actively alter their environment by releasing iron that stains the ice and water, creating the blood-like appearance of the falls. Their influence, though microscopic, becomes a visible transformation of the landscape, demonstrating the power of unseen life to shape entire ecosystems. What's even more compelling is that this ecosystem has remained entirely isolated. There is no connection between the subglacial water and the ocean or atmosphere. This means that whatever life exists here has evolved independently for an unimaginable length of time. In a sense, the microbes beneath blood falls are living fossils, relics of a prehistoric world. They offer a glimpse into early life on Earth, perhaps even resembling the first organisms that appeared billions of years ago, before the Earth had a breathable atmosphere or protective ozone layer. Their isolation protects their genetic lineage from outside influence, preserving ancient biological traits that might have disappeared elsewhere on the planet. Advanced imaging and sonar techniques have revealed a broader network of subglacial lakes and briny reservoirs, suggesting that blood falls might not be unique. Rather, it could be part of a much larger, interconnected subterranean ecosystem hidden beneath Antarctica's ice sheet. This system may stretch for hundreds of miles, supporting unknown species and biological processes that have yet to be discovered. The potential for biodiversity beneath the ice has drawn international interest, and new missions continue to explore the region, cautiously drilling into the ancient ice to avoid contamination of these pristine environments. The discovery of extremophiles under Taylor Glacier has triggered a reevaluation of where scientists look for life, both on Earth and beyond. Places once thought inhospitable are now viewed as potential oases. The underlying message is that life is far more robust, tenacious, and adaptable than previously imagined. Even in the most hostile corners of our world, it can emerge, adapt, and thrive, using strategies that seem almost alien. The microbes of blood falls are not just survivors. They are silent teachers, showing humanity that the boundaries of possibility are far wider than we once believed. Far beneath Antarctica's thick, unforgiving ice, scientists have discovered remnants of tropical vegetation, fossils of ancient plants such as ferns, palm trees, and even flowering species. These findings have dramatically altered the perception of Antarctica as a frozen, lifeless wilderness. Millions of years ago, the continent was lush, green, and full of life. Fossilized leaves and roots embedded deep in the ice reveal that Antarctica was once covered in dense forests, thriving under a temperate climate. This revelation came to light through deep drilling expeditions and core sampling that unearthed preserved spores, pollen, and plant tissues that had remained locked in frozen sediment for tens of millions of years. This surprising discovery paints a picture of a vastly different Antarctica. Around 90 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, the region was warm enough to support rainforests similar to those found in modern-day New Zealand or the Pacific Northwest. The fossil evidence suggests that temperatures during this era rarely dropped below freezing, and the land supported diverse flora and likely fauna as well. These plant fossils, some discovered less than 500 miles from the South Pole, contain evidence of seasonal growth rings and cellular structures that only develop in sunlit temperate climates. This means that, at one time, Antarctica must have been bathed in prolonged daylight and warmth. conditions that supported large ecosystems. In 2012, a team of researchers drilled into the seafloor off the coast of West Antarctica and uncovered sediment cores containing remnants of ancient root systems and pollen. These samples were dated back to the mid-Cretaceous and showed clear evidence of land-based vegetation in an area now buried beneath glaciers. The root structures were intact enough to suggest that forests had once stood there, rich with biodiversity. What's more fascinating is that the soil found beneath the ice had not been disturbed for tens of millions of years, meaning this ecosystem had been preserved beneath layers of glacial ice, hidden from the world. The pollen grains found in those cores belonged to flowering plants, hinting at a subtropical climate that defied all expectations for such a southerly latitude. This information changed the understanding of Earth's climatic history. For such vegetation to thrive at the South Pole, global temperatures would have had to be significantly higher than previously estimated. It suggests that carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere were far greater than today's, creating a greenhouse world where even the poles remained warm. The forests of ancient Antarctica would have been home to complex ecosystems of insects, birds, reptiles, and perhaps even mammals. Fossils of marine reptiles such as plesiosaurs and mosasaurs have also been found near Antarctic shores, indicating that these waters once teemed with life. The discovery of plant fossils alongside such creatures only strengthens the idea of a once living, breathing continent. The presence of ancient tropical vegetation also raises questions about the timeline of Antarctica's transformation. At what pace did the continent freeze over, and what caused such a drastic shift from lush green forests to a desolate land of ice and snow? Some scientists believe that tectonic movement, combined with shifts in Earth's orbit and axial tilt, slowly drove Antarctica toward the South Pole, altering its exposure to sunlight. Over millions of years, volcanic activity and changing ocean currents may have contributed to the cooling of the continent, eventually forming the vast ice sheet that defines it today. However, some researchers point out inconsistencies in this gradualist explanation, suggesting that the transition may have been more abrupt, perhaps triggered by a rapid atmospheric or cosmic event. One of the more controversial implications of this discovery is the possibility that intelligent life could have once existed, or at least visited, Antarctica when it was still habitable. The idea is not just the domain of fringe theorists. If the land was once capable of sustaining large ecosystems, it might also have provided the conditions necessary for early human ancestors, or even a pre-human civilization, to settle or migrate through it, with evidence showing that Antarctica was once a part of the supercontinent Gondwana. It could have served as a bridge between South America, Africa, and Australia. Its central location in prehistoric geography gives weight to the idea that it may have played a greater role in early life development than previously understood. Further complicating the story are the repeated discoveries of pyramid-like formations, anomalous heat signatures, and unusual magnetic fields in areas close to where ancient plant fossils have been found. Though many scientists maintain that these features are natural, others believe they may point to buried evidence of structures or technologies predating modern history. While no definitive proof has surfaced to support such theories, the fossil evidence alone proves that Antarctica was once anything but frozen. Its now silent valleys and towering glaciers rest atop the buried remnants of a green, vibrant world lost to time. Using advanced thermal imaging, satellite scans, and radar technology, scientists have discovered an extensive network of massive tunnels beneath Antarctica's ice. Tunnels so large they could comfortably house entire skyscrapers. These structures stretch for miles under the surface, carved in perfect arcs and uniform shapes that are difficult to attribute entirely to natural causes. Some reach heights of 250 feet and span widths that rival the world's largest underground man-made facilities. Initially, it was believed that these tunnels were formed by flowing subglacial meltwater or volcanic lava tubes. However, their geometry, scale, and symmetry have baffled experts, who now question whether these enormous voids could have a different, less conventional origin. What makes the discovery even more remarkable is the consistency of the tunnels across different regions of the continent. Normally, natural ice caves, or subglacial channels, vary significantly in width, shape, and path, due to the unpredictable movement of ice, pressure shifts, and geological features. But in Antarctica, these tunnels appear highly uniform and aligned, as if constructed with purpose. Some scans show walls with distinct layering or striations that don't match the chaotic randomness of natural erosion. This has led to speculation that what we are seeing could be the remnants of an advanced system of transportation, drainage, or habitation, possibly dating back to a prehistoric or even non-terrestrial civilization. Adding to the intrigue, many of these tunnels are located in regions that have recorded unexplained thermal activity. Despite being buried beneath miles of ice, infrared scans show that some tunnel areas emit heat, even when no volcanic or geothermal sources are present nearby. These anomalous heat signatures indicate something is generating or retaining energy in these depths. Scientists originally thought these readings might result from natural geothermal heat rising through thinner parts of the ice sheet, but the precision and shape of the tunnels, paired with the heat sources, have complicated this theory. If natural, the heat patterns should be erratic or isolated. Instead, they form patterns, as if generated or directed by a controlled system beneath the surface. Another unexplained element is the electromagnetic disturbances recorded in proximity to these tunnels. Multiple research expeditions, both manned and remote, have reported instrument malfunctions, signal interference, and magnetic anomalies when flying over or scanning the areas. Compasses behave erratically, and GPS devices become unreliable. Even though the rest of the continent displays none of these issues, in some cases, drones have lost connectivity mid-flight while crossing specific coordinates aligned with tunnel locations. The disruption appears highly localized, suggesting a source that is either metallic, energetic, or electromagnetic in nature. These disturbances echo those found near known underground military bunkers or large energy emitters, yet no such facilities have been officially acknowledged in these parts of Antarctica. Efforts to investigate these tunnels directly have been minimal and in some cases suspiciously restricted. International research teams have reported being denied clearance or redirected away from key areas, often with vague explanations about safety hazards or conservation regulations. This level of access control has only fueled speculation, with some observers suggesting that the tunnels are known to government or private organizations and are being actively concealed. It has even been suggested that the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, while framed as a peaceful scientific agreement, also serves to limit unauthorized exploration of sensitive zones where such discoveries may exist. Historical references have also added an unusual dimension to this mystery. Ancient legends from diverse civilizations, from Tibetan texts to Mesoamerican myths, describe vast underground tunnels connecting the world beneath polar regions. Some even speak of hidden knowledge, lost species, or sanctuaries buried beneath the ice. While often dismissed as allegory, these stories have re-emerged in modern discussions due to the remarkable similarities in the geographic and structural descriptions. The tunnels found in Antarctica match in form and placement the ancient lore describing deep, cold corridors beneath the Earth's surface, guarded by ice and shadow. One particularly notable discovery came from radar data revealing what appeared to be intersecting tunnels forming geometric patterns, crossroads and corridors resembling an engineered layout. In one case, a triangular formation was uncovered, with each point spanning tens of miles apart and linked by these massive voids. Natural tunnels don't usually form such precise, repeating arrangements. The implications of this are deeply unsettling for conventional science, as they defy both glaciology and geology. If these features are not natural, they must be the product of a civilization or intelligence capable of large-scale subterranean engineering under conditions far harsher than those faced by any modern human construction. Even more striking is the suggestion that these tunnels may still be active. Recent sonar and seismic data have recorded low-frequency vibrations and subtle, rhythmic movements in areas where the tunnels are concentrated. These vibrations differ from natural icequakes or glacial shifts in both duration and frequency. Some researchers have speculated they might indicate machinery still operating deep below the surface, an idea considered outrageous by mainstream science, but increasingly discussed in fringe and independent circles. Whether it is ancient technology, natural phenomena misunderstood, or something else entirely, these tunnels represent one of the most compelling and least understood elements hidden beneath Antarctica's icy surface. In a land as remote and inhospitable as Antarctica, the discovery of unusual metallic objects buried deep beneath the ice has triggered both scientific curiosity and global speculation. One such object was reportedly unearthed during a geological survey intended to analyze mineral compositions under the ice sheet. What researchers found instead was a strange, dense object unlike any known natural formation. Early analysis suggested the object possessed a metallic composition but not one commonly found in Earth's crust. The alloy was too refined, too uniform, and showed characteristics that could not be explained by known geological processes or terrestrial manufacturing. The find was kept out of public view, and official reports were minimal, limited to a brief acknowledgement that anomalous material had been detected. While skeptics argued it could be space debris or part of an old undiscovered meteorite, what set the object apart was not just its material, but its shape. Radar imaging and ground-penetrating scans revealed smooth geometric edges and curved panels, features highly unusual for a meteorite that would typically fragment and deform upon impact. The object's contours resembled something engineered, perhaps part of a larger structure now entombed in ice. It was discovered in a region with no known history of human activity and no reason to suspect buried man-made objects. This raised the disturbing possibility that it was not man-made at all, or that it was built by an unknown civilization long before modern humanity even existed. The location of this discovery, far from any accessible base or landing zone, made it extremely difficult to extract or study in detail. When limited core samples were taken from the object's surface, the results were perplexing. The metal displayed an unusually high resistance to corrosion and conducted heat far more efficiently than any Earth-based alloy. Moreover, traces of rare Earth elements and isotopic compositions not typically found on this planet were reportedly present in the samples. This fueled speculation among certain scientific circles that the object could be of extraterrestrial origin, perhaps part of a probe, vessel, or other advanced technology that found its way to Earth and was buried over time by natural glacial shifts. Further complicating the narrative were unexplained energy readings captured near the object's resting place. Ground sensors recorded intermittent bursts of electromagnetic radiation pulsing in consistent intervals. These signals did not match any known earthly origin, neither natural nor human, and they were strongest around the object's coordinates. Some theorists proposed that the object might still be active in some capacity, even if dormant for thousands or millions of years. The idea of a long-lost alien device hidden beneath Antarctica's ice is considered extreme, yet no alternative explanation has convincingly accounted for all of the observed anomalies. Government and institutional response to the discovery has been unusually quiet. Following the leak of early data, the site was closed off to independent researchers, and satellite images of the area were either blurred or left out entirely from open-access mapping tools. This level of secrecy only intensified public interest. Whistleblowers and anonymous sources claimed that further excavation unearthed additional fragments, possibly part of a larger structure buried even deeper beneath the surface. Some reports even suggested internal chambers within the object, filled with intricate patterns or markings that resembled circuitry. However, none of these claims have been verified through official sources. The possibility that this object could be linked to a larger system of unexplained Antarctic features, such as magnetic anomalies, unusual tunnel systems, and ancient geometric formations, adds yet another layer of intrigue. The object's alignment with known anomalies, such as the massive Wilkes land structure and other high-energy zones beneath the ice, suggests it may not be an isolated phenomenon. Some researchers speculate that it could be a remnant of a spacecraft, or perhaps an artifact from a highly advanced civilization that predates human history. Its discovery has led some to revisit ancient texts and myths that reference gods descending from the skies, or machines buried beneath the poles, drawing eerie parallels between folklore and recent scientific revelations. The scientific community remains divided. Mainstream institutions tend to avoid the topic altogether or offer generic explanations rooted in meteorite impacts and rare geological events. Meanwhile, independent researchers continue to publish speculative papers, some pointing to the object as possible proof of panspermia, the idea that life on Earth may have been seeded by alien technology or interstellar microbes. Whether or not the object supports that theory remains unknown, but its unique properties continue to challenge conventional understanding. As of now, the artifact remains under heavy ice and under even heavier secrecy. Equipment and personnel reportedly continue to monitor the site, with no clear indication of what has been discovered since the initial find. Those who've studied the raw data claim that we are looking at a piece of something much bigger, possibly connected to other buried structures around the globe. Whatever the truth, the presence of a mysterious metallic object beneath the Antarctic ice remains one of the most provocative and least understood discoveries on the planet. In the depths of Antarctica's icy silence, researchers have recorded a series of mysterious sounds and electromagnetic signals that challenge every conventional understanding of geophysical activity. These are not the normal creaks and rumbles of shifting glaciers or the seismic groans of moving tectonic plates. Instead, what has been captured in multiple regions across the continent are rhythmic, mechanical-like pulses, signals that repeat with eerie consistency and occur in patterns rather than random bursts. Some resemble sonar pings, while others are low-frequency hums that defy known classifications. The sounds are often so deep they cannot be heard by the human ear, but are detected through specialized equipment designed to record subsonic and ultrasonic vibrations. These audio anomalies have been picked up hundreds of meters beneath the ice, isolated from wind, weather, and any known surface activity. The first documented instances of these strange noises were dismissed as glacial tremors or ice sheet settling, but further investigations complicated the narrative. In one location, researchers recorded a pulsating sound that repeated every 16 seconds over the course of several days. The sound came from deep within a region of East Antarctica, near one of the continent's magnetic anomalies. The consistency and duration of the pulses led scientists to consider whether they were caused by moving water, but the area in question had no signs of subglacial lakes or active water channels. Even stranger, the sound would start and stop abruptly, behaving less like a natural process and more like a signal being transmitted. At the same time, electromagnetic anomalies have been recorded in tandem with these sounds. Satellites and ground-based sensors have detected highly localized disruptions in Earth's magnetic field in regions corresponding with known geological mysteries, such as the Wilkes land gravity anomaly and several areas above buried subterranean voids. These electromagnetic signals are not random. They seem to exhibit patterns, cycling through frequencies in intervals, with some resembling digital transmission structures. This has led to theories that these could be remnants of ancient technology buried beneath the ice, emitting residual energy, or perhaps still functioning in some unknown capacity. Others have gone further, proposing that the signals could be non-terrestrial in origin, possibly artificial beacons left by advanced visitors long ago. One particularly unsettling event occurred when a multinational team operating deep radar sensors picked up not only repeating audio pulses, but also received unexplained feedback into their instruments, similar to what might occur when a device intercepts a broadcast frequency. Equipment began malfunctioning, memory cards were inexplicably wiped, and the entire team had to relocate. No clear explanation was offered, but the incident was quietly mentioned in internal scientific communications and later redacted in public records. Reports like this have emerged sporadically over the years of instruments failing, batteries draining unusually fast, and data being corrupted in specific areas, all pointing toward an environmental factor that remains unidentified. Adding weight to these mysteries is the growing body of declassified military and intelligence files referencing unidentified radio bursts emanating from polar regions. During the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union dispatched missions to Antarctica not only for scientific purposes, but to monitor unexplained radio signals. Some documents reveal intercepted transmissions with pulse structures not used by any known military or civilian communications system. These files, often incomplete or redacted, suggest that both nations were aware of anomalous electromagnetic activity in Antarctica, decades before the public had any access to this information. Another layer of intrigue comes from the difficulty in consistently recording these phenomena. Several researchers have noted that the signals appear to be location-specific and time-sensitive, sometimes vanishing for months only to return without warning. They can fluctuate based on atmospheric conditions, the position of celestial bodies, or even the Earth's magnetic cycle. Some of the signals have been heard only once, never to be detected again. This fleeting nature makes them hard to study and nearly impossible to predict, adding to the growing list of unexplained phenomena tied to the continent. These acoustic and electromagnetic disturbances often correspond with other physical anomalies. In some cases, spikes in heat signatures have occurred simultaneously with the appearance of the sounds, suggesting an energetic reaction or event. This has led some scientists to theorize that beneath the ice could be systems or objects that activate under certain environmental conditions. Perhaps pressure thresholds, solar alignment, or magnetic field shifts, whether natural or artificial. The synchronicity of sound, heat, and magnetism has created a trifecta of mystery. Some observers have pointed to ancient texts and oral traditions from around the world that speak of singing mountains, vibrating ice, or guardians beneath the poles. While easily dismissed as mythology, the precision with which these accounts describe vibrations and underground resonance now appears eerily similar to the phenomena recorded by modern instruments. The possibility that these ancient stories were rooted in real, unexplained experiences is becoming harder to ignore. Though much about Antarctica remains hidden, these sounds and signals have opened a new frontier of exploration, not just beneath the ice, but in the depths of our understanding of Earth's most enigmatic continent. Whether the source is geological, technological, or something yet to be imagined, the frequencies beneath the ice continue to hum with questions humanity is only beginning to ask.